Okay, Mel, we are live right now. It's just we're getting ready to start the show, everybody. So, you people out there, let us know if the audio is working. If you would, we'll wait for somebody to jump on the into the chat room here and let us know that it's working. But Mel, I can also take this time to go and grab the link. So this takes a few minutes. I got to go into our channel. Ah, there's Tom Buckley. Oh, he said the audio is great. Thank you, sir. Okay. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to copy that link. And then post it on our Facebook page. And there we go. So we're up and running on at least one Facebook page. All right. Let me see. It is now 7:30. So, Mel, are you ready?
Yep. 7:30 on the dot, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So, good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 339. And tonight, the title of our show is $1.2 million. Really? For the DA's, the Dallas DA's office for their gang unit, which consists right now of one prosecutor and one investigator. Now, that's not to mix that up with the Dallas police gang unit, which certainly has more people in it. But, hey, we digress. I mean, but listen to this, Mel. $1.2 million grant they get, and the whole, that fusion center that they are getting in Waco and other areas of Texas. What they say, those were like $3 million.
Yeah. So, yeah, 1.2 million's chicken feed.
Well, let's listen to this now. This is $1.2 million for an extra prosecutor and 2 extra investigators. Mel, that's a third of the budget that's for the fusion centers. That's going to hire way more employees than 3 people, I think, to run that fusion center, and also lease a space or build a building or whatever they're going to do to have this fusion center in Waco and the other 2 towns, the Tyler, and I think Longview may have been the other one. I'm not sure, but I think it's overkill. I'm not too sure. After seeing the what happened in Waco with the DA there, and with their apparent inability to really investigate motorcycle clubs, much less real gangs. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in that. I don't have a lot of faith in the system. And it's certainly not money well spent. Go ahead.
Well, that obviously all they care about is they got the money.
Right.
They'll figure out something to do with it, and it may or may not involve exactly what the hell that grant money's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't have an auditor sitting there watching what they're doing with the money. I think all they have to do is fill out some paperwork once they get the grant and show some evidence that they've started to use the money for that, and maybe periodically turn in another report. But that is no guarantee that they're going to do a damn thing with it. Plus which, what the hell is the prosecutor doing investigations before he's prosecuting? I mean, this is starting to sound like Abel Reyna reincarnated in Dallas.
Exactly. But we'll keep a close eye on what's going on there with their newfound funds, and with the hiring of these two extra investigators, and then of course the prosecutor. A prosecutor's a prosecutor, whether he's a gang prosecutor or whether he's just a plain ordinary prosecutor. I mean, what's the freaking difference, Mel?
Well, that's my point. I mean, I can see doing investigations once an arrest has been made and the case is on and the whole bit, kind of like if you watch Blue Bloods on TV,
right?
The way they do it. But I'm failing to see why the hell it's dog-eared for gangs. It just doesn't make that much sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make that much sense. I mean, we brought up the fact that, well, let me say this one thing. I mean, when I said a minute ago, don't mix the Dallas gang unit with Dallas PD's gang unit. Dallas PD's gang unit recently wasted a whole bunch of man hours and tax dollars profiling motorcyclists in South Dallas. Now, we all know motorcycle clubs aren't street gangs, but somehow the DPS wants to keep vilifying us as street gangs, and they're busy collecting data that has no effect on the crimes that are happening right under their very noses, Mel. And I've said, hell, here in the DFW area, it's turned into the goddamn OK Corral. I mean, we got more crap going on every night, and now the DA's office has decided that they're not gonna prosecute any crimes under $150. And you're talking about a new wave of crimes in convenience stores and everywhere else. I mean, my God. And now the governor started chiming in on it. So now we've got a battle going on over over a governor that wants to put everybody in damn jail, and in the for-profit jails. And maybe that's what some of this is about. When the governor started speaking up, oh, by God, we got to have these people in jail. We got to have everybody in jail. I mean, we got to supply our for-profit jails around the state, the ones that exist. I'm just saying, you look at it and you understand petty crimes. You understand people that are hungry, and you understand low-level marijuana charges. I mean, you don't want to load the prisons up with just a bunch of nonsense. But at the same time, you don't want people stealing from other people willy-nilly. Because if you're a businessman, Mel, like you and I have been, if you're working on slim profit margins, $750 is a lot of damn money out of your budget. Not to mention the cost of keeping the doors open with the utilities.
Yeah, especially if your margins are slim to begin with.
Exactly. That's like,
Now,
Mel, that's like I told you at my shop one time. I had some guys steal from me. I talked to the cops about it, and they said, well, they had the keys. You gave them the keys.
yeah.
That's like,
Ergo, you gave them permission to steal from.
Exactly. Exactly. It's kind of like, a driver running off with a truck that he does not own, but the owner of the truck gave him the damn keys. And they will not pursue him. They will not go after him.
So let me get this straight. If I were able to find, and that would be my question, is there a Harley Davidson dealer in Dallas?
Oh.
Or are we talking Dallas County?
We're talking Dallas.
Okay. So if there's a Harley Davidson dealer in Dallas, which I doubt, because I think they're all around, but I could walk in there, and as long as I didn't walk out the front door without paying for anything more than $750, they can't prosecute me.
It's up to it's more than likely that the DA will not prosecute you, because
the worst thing they do is you got to give back what you tried to take out.
Exactly.
That is asinine.
And and it would be up to
who
the business.
hell elects people like this?
Mel, and it would be up to the business to go try and get it back.
Yeah.
It's like I told you, the one mix up we had with American Express one time. Well, it's the reason we quit using American Express was because they would if the customer had a complaint, they would send them the money back immediately, and they still had the damn product, Mel. They still had the damn product. You try and get it back. Like in that one case I was telling you about, a $600 set of leathers. Road racing leathers.
Yeah.
You think they brought that back?
Yeah.
I mean, hell no. But Mel, I'm going to take a second and say, Mr. Spain, how are you doing this evening? I'm saying hi back to him. But I mean, this is a whole new quagmire. And as I talked about in the article I wrote, that, hey, look, that we talked about Dallas being 1,000 officers short. And that came up on some radio programs today. They're 1,000 police officers short. So this is going to help matters. But then again, Mel, how many police officers there are doesn't affect crime that much. It's other problems that our society has that affects the crime, and one of them is drugs, and the lure of the big money to be made dealing drugs. And law enforcement struggles with this too, within their own ranks, because there are more law enforcement officers arrested each year for these nefarious crimes than there are bikers. Matter of fact is, there's more of them arrested than all the motorcycle clubs put together. All of them. So it's quite a thing we see going on here. And now with all these fusion centers and everything else that, like we talked about last week, hey, we got 9 fusion centers when one would suffice. He wants to spread them around all over the state. What is it? Just we've got some grant money out there, so let's do a make work program.
Well, yeah, and who the hell comes up with these grants?
Well,
that would be my other question.
Well, the federal government. the federal government. I realized that the federal government, with their big giant fusion center they have that collects in all this data from all around the world. I mean, they take in so much data, like we brought up last week, that they take in so much data. There's no way they don't have enough field agents to get out there and check out every nutty thing that people say across the world or in this country alone even.
Yeah, we got some real mental giants working for the federal government.
Exactly. So they decide, okay, we'll handle all this local stuff. We'll make all these fusion centers, and we'll make them all about gangs. I mean, who can be against going after gangs? Who can be against going after MS-13? And a new one I read about the other day, I think it's in the papers, 18th Street or something like that. I mean, I don't even know anything about that kind of culture. Nothing. And Mel, we've been around a long time, right?
That's right. Yeah, longer than I'd like to talk about.
So I mean, it just keeps on growing, and the myth about bikers keeps on growing. And like I was talking to a person the other night. He didn't give me permission to say his name, so I'm not going to say it. But like I was talking the other night, I said, hey, look, this thing with collecting all this data on all these 1% clubs, the top 3 that they identify. I mean, that's got to be getting redundant. They're getting the same names over and over and over again. They've been doing it so many years. But it doesn't stop crime. It doesn't. Understand, first responders, or as far as I'm concerned, they're second responders, and I will explain that right now. I consider people on the scene as first responders when something happens. People on the scene are the first responders, the people that would give aid or whatever else. Police come along second, and then the fire department. Then they come along. They're at best second responders. And what they are, Mel, realize they're responders. They're not out there preventing crime. I mean, look what's going on in Deep Ellum and other parts of the city. I mean, it's just madness that they throw money, waste man hours on chasing bikers around. But it's easy to do. It's easy to do. We've been vilified for 70 years without pushing back until now. But I guess over the past month, the some of the profiling has slowed down because we've had rain every weekend. And so maybe as the weather straightens out here, we'll be monitoring to see. It will be monitoring to see if the profiling picks back up. And we'll also be going to these places where they say they do not want us. Well, by God, here we come. Here we come. With cell phones and cameras in tow. Understand that there's not and I've said, you've heard me say this before, everybody, there's not a single motorcycle club in this country that's not allowed to exist. Our patches are constitutionally protected by the First Amendment. We can ride anywhere. And if, if there's any people that don't like it, well, tough. Tough. So, Mel, hey, I mean, look at the weather tonight. The weathermen here in the Metroplex have got the whole area in a damn panic. You can't find a parking space in a mall parking garage right now.
I hate to laugh, but like I was telling you, every one of us have spent this afternoon preparing for the alleged storm tonight.
Oh yeah. Hey, my wife and my neighbor, they've been running cars up to the mall all afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I promise you, there's not a parking space open up there right now. And there's a lot of people just sitting in their cars. waiting for hail.
Yeah.
But when you have the weatherman sitting there talking about, hey, there's it could be 5-inch hail. There could be tennis ball size hail. And in the same breath, he says, well, now this is not everywhere. This is a possibility. Well, you certainly want to take your precautions, especially if you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah. I'll tell you, after I got physically hit with a good chunk of hail, I don't ever want to have that happen again, I'll tell you. Not a pleasant experience.
James on the chat room here says, well, isn't that what insurance is for? Yeah, you're exactly right. But here in Texas, it can happen to you multiple times a year. And I think, people get tired of messing with it. Here in that, and back to profiling for a minute, I said in that article, business owners and Dallas citizens should never fear. The Dallas PD has it covered, talking about all these petty crimes. They have it covered by wasting their time profiling motorcyclists to collect data that has no effect other than wasting taxpayer dollars. Everybody from the Dallas PD, police unions, politicians, the media throw out statistics to support their narrative. And it's reporting their narrative when it comes to crimes.
I think it would be really interesting to see how many clubs and independents we could get rolling in and around the Dallas city limit area on any given Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you get enough of us out there, we could create one hell of a traffic issue. And let's see how they start stopping everybody to profile.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's some rallies that are imminent. Like Dallas, for instance. Ellis County, for instance. Oh, yeah.
Well, we need to make them spend some money.
Oh, yeah. That's what we did in Waco. We made them spend a lot of money in Waco. Yeah, I basically tell everybody, forget these statistics that they throw out there. There's never going to be a police officer in their minds. Never. They're always going to need more of this, more money, more everything. They're always going to need more. But, I suggest to everybody that they just turn on the nightly news, which gives you a better idea of what's going on around you. And you kind of take some notes. Then you realize it's a horror show out there. And crime.
Well, that's, we've said many times and discussed it. That's exactly why they lie, keep these task forces going.
Exactly.
Because that's where they get their budget money. They want those stats.
Yeah. So they're going to go run around and collect data, whether it's real or not. And it's like, Mel, you and I have checked to see if we're in the gang database. And of course, we got an interesting answer on that one.
Well, of course, everyone needs to understand that if they come back and say, no, you're not in the database, that's not necessarily true. Because they are playing a shell game with those databases.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly.
Sure, they went out and they checked the database. They went out and checked the database that they're responsible for, but they don't tell you about these other databases that they may be linked to.
Mm-hmm.
that all these other departments are running their own special little databases, and people are in them, and that's why it's damn tough for it to be regulated by law, because there are certain things that are supposed to take place in that database that affords protection to people that may have had the unfortunate set of circumstances of ending up in the database. And that would be they committed a felony, or they, had some big charge against them. And according to the law, what is it? I think once 5 years have gone by and you have not had any additional charges brought against you for anything, they are mandated to remove you from the database. The trick is find the database, because you're playing a shell game.
Right. Right. And James, you're exactly right about the rallies and big events bringing in tons of cash into localities, and a lot of businesses where the rallies depend on these events to make their living. There are people that actually make a living doing these rallies, and and Mel, we like to go to them. Oh yeah, really do. It's a lot of fun. And we run into old friends and meet new ones. It's always cool. And so, we don't need these so-called gang units out there just trying to harass. And that's basically what they're doing right now, is just harassing.
Well, it's going to be real interesting to see what they set up around the state as some of these big rallies take place that are done annually here in Texas. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot of profiling stops, checkpoints.
We'll see, because it seems to be different in the different regions around the state. Up here in the DFW area, we've got a lot of profiling, or we had a lot of profiling going on. So it'll be interesting to see, like we brought up just a minute ago, when the weather starts getting better and the guys start getting out there, the guys and the gals start getting out there, and the clubs start having events on their Thursday night bike nights, all the way to the big events that happen in Austin and Galveston. And, that one that happened in Galveston last year, things that I can remember about that, of the profiling, it was kind of weak. But they certainly picked up the pace here in the DFW area. Now we'll see if that holds as we're getting the word out there to everybody. Hey, go to these places, get video, get audio. It's so important that you do this stuff, and it's even more important that you get it to us, because we're going to use it at some point. It's obvious that many of these officers, don't know what the hell they're talking about. And right now, the videos we have, you can see at texasbikerradio.org. There's in the menu bar, you go down and you see profiling videos, and there you can see the videos we have so far. If you have a video that we don't have posted there, get it to us. We're going to use
now may be a good time too to mention to everyone that we have said, if you don't want to take the time or the trouble, or you're concerned and you don't want to request any video that was taken by law enforcement at your stop, be it a dash cam or the video cam that they wear, make sure we can always get the dash cams when we, because we have to tell them the date of the incident, where it occurred, the time, the whole bit. But unless we have that officer's name and badge number, they will not. They'll tell you that that unless you furnish that information, they're unable to furnish that video. So you got to be damn sure when you get stopped, you ask that officer what for his name and his badge number. And if you're not videoing it yourself to where you've recorded that name and badge number, make sure you jot it down as soon as you can after they get out of there.
Exactly, Mel. That the officer's name, the badge number, if you can get it, but the name is really important, and the time and date that the incident occurred, and your name. So we can request that data. We're going to have to go back at Ellis County and probably file a lawsuit against them to get the body cam video. And we asked for any and all body cam video and dash cam cameras on that particular stop, and they did not provide that. And with the body cams, they shuffle a letter off to the Attorney General, where you get this letter back that's saying, "Hey, we can't identify blah 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 bullshit."
Yeah, they're just going to play their bullshit games as usual.
Right. So we'll have to take other steps to get those videos. But what's even more important than that video is your video. And don't let them tell you you do not have the right to video them, because you certainly do. Yeah. James says you pretty much got to run a stock bike nowadays to keep from staying out of trouble. Which pretty close to it. But at the very minimum, have your stuff up, personal stuff up to date, your driver's license, an M endorsement, your insurance papers, and if you carry a registration, which I've never done, make sure it's in your wallet and not in a saddlebag. We suggest that to you. You don't want to be opening up your saddlebags where they think they can see something, but maybe they didn't, and give them an excuse to go through your stuff. Really. Hey, Mel, I mentioned a minute ago the things that affect crime, and it's certainly not. There's certainly no crime from prevention going on out there. Not with everything we got happening around here. Oh, hell no. But I said drugs, and the lure, the easy money. Poverty is also a problem, and an ever increasing immigration problem, which drains manpower and money from the state. I mean, you don't fix these problems or even handle these problems if you're wasting our state and nation's money and resources. And that's a big part of this, Mel, is the fact that they mismanage their resources. They're out there doing the goofiest stuff instead of really tackling the problem. Mel, I mean, how long have we had the war on drugs?
Oh, that's got to be the biggest failure ever.
Most of our life?
Oh, yeah, as long as I can remember. I think it started with Reagan, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe even before that. But I mean, we've had this war on drugs going on, and where has the headway been made? Where?
Nowhere.
I mean, we can't build a damn wall. We can't secure our borders. We've got them flying drugs in, bringing drugs in by boats. We got them digging tunnels, and we've even got them using human beings as mules to bring them in.
Listen, right now the cartels control the borders to this country.
Yeah, it's It's not our border patrol. Oh, and if you remember, Obama gave them a free alley out there in Arizona to come in on, where nobody's allowed to go. I'm just saying. We're out of our damn minds. So we're out of our damn minds that we fund this stuff. But this is where the politicians take us. And it's time we quit believing everything that comes out of their mouths. We've got to shut it down. We've got to, as it says in the Trump campaign, drain the swamp. And that's of everybody, even statewide. And like I talked about, they mismanage stuff so bad. And, the profiling motorcycles is one of them. And it's all this crap, this profiling that's going on, this violation our constitutional rights. It's endorsed by law enforcement, politicians, and bureaucrats. But we've got a plan. We're going to push back. We're going to push back. That's what I talked about the other night at the U.S. Defenders meeting. Pushing back. How to do it. How to organize. And we need you guys out there. You guys to join us. We're not going to get you in trouble. I mean, my God, we've been doing this for a long time now. We spent 4 years, the better part of 4 years, battling that shit down there in Waco. And we always had faith that everything was going to turn out all right. We always had faith that they didn't want to go there, that's for sure. And that ended up to being the case. Oh, yeah. And like Mel just brought up a while ago, we made them spend a lot of money. And we made Abel Reyna cry. I love being able to say that, Mel. But, I mean, it's some of the same strategies that we used there will work in this case on motorcycle profiling. And I think the fusion centers and other stuff that's going on. We've just got to work together. And that's everybody, whether you're in a motorcycle club or an independent rolling down the road. Because let me tell you, sooner or later, as these databases grow, as they have them in all these other different cities, it can't be just banditos. It can't be just Mongols. It can't be just Hells Angels. It can't be just motorcycle clubs. They eventually have to expand it to, like the governor said, anybody that looks like a damn gang member. Think about that. And think about what happened shortly after that, because that's exactly what happened. You learned that from the dadgum Garland gang unit officer. Well, I stopped you for what you were wearing. If you're going to look the part, you got to expect it. Oh, really? Oh, really? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And I hope the day comes that I run into that gang unit officer. I hope that day comes. And he says those things to me. Not that I want to go to jail, but I know my rights as a human being, as an American citizen, as a Texan, and as a motorcyclist. Mel and I have been riding these damn things for a great many years. We hadn't seen anything like what's going on now. Right, Mel?
Absolutely. I mean, it's mind blowing. We started warning people quite some time ago. You know, they're coming for us,
Yeah.
and by God, it's coming true. We're slowly they're trying to strip our rights away little by little, and they're being pretty damn successful at it in intimidation.
Yeah. You know, it's like we tell everybody, you get pulled over, traffic stop, profiling, whatever you think it is, keep your cool, get your video, have your paperwork ready, and be cordial. Let them be the asses, and many of them will be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like we talked about the other night, there are some good guys out there.
Oh, yes.
There are some good guys in law enforcement. And if they're pulling you over, they may be pulling you over for some righteous thing. Maybe you didn't signal, or maybe you did something. They're pulling you over, and be cordial. I mean, if you start pushing back immediately and become antagonistic, you're just going to turn it into an ugly situation.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it is with real rarity. I would have a hard time remembering any. Well, there was one cop that stopped me up in Minnesota that was an absolute prick. I'd love to have just punched his nose all the way through to the back of his head. Some fucked up little sheriff's deputy that thought he was God.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, there was no change in that. But just about every other officer that's ever stopped me, either, you know, you could tell they just had an attitude, but they weren't going to come off on you, and you weren't going to get anywhere. But more times than not, it bought me a warning, or it at least bought me courtesy. And, you know, it pays off more times than not to just be courteous, be cordial.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mel, the next time we do a legislative strike force meeting, it will be public, and we'll invite everybody to come in, and you can hear what we have to say about it. And we do have a strategy that we're using. Of course, I'm not going to say it here because we know they do listen to us. We don't give a damn. We're not saying anything they shouldn't hear. We're not saying anything they shouldn't know.
You know you're going to get a thumbs down tonight anyway.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we're going to get that guy. That's got to where that's a pretty good joke. But hey, understand, if you come to Texas, if you come to this state, you're an MC passing through, or you're a group that's passing through, they're going to watch you from the minute you cross the border. From the very minute, they're going to identify you, and and you probably won't even know it. But if you made the big list, they're really going to watch you. As we saw in the Fort Worth stockyards. But in the coming weeks, we're going to be, now that the weather looks like it's now rotating off the weekends. Thank goodness. I mean, I was getting so tired of it raining every weekend, and then we get some nice days through the week, and then all of a sudden, boom, we've got rain. We've got stuff like supposed to be going on tonight, Mel, and it's looking, I don't know, is it looking like they're going to have egg on their face over this, the weatherman?
May very well. I mean, I've been looking at that radar app all day, and I can't see anything coming in from anywhere. If it brews up, it's going to brew up quickly.
Let me tell everybody all across the nation, and you people here in Texas know it. They've been talking for days about the storm and talking about the size of the hail. Now they started backtracking a little bit this afternoon, saying, "Oh, it's not going to be everywhere. It's not going to be everywhere." So, so there we go. We get 5-inch hail, cantaloupe size is
Texas side.
yes. And so here they go. They've got the whole city in a panic. Like I said, you cannot find a parking space anywhere in the mall parking facilities, in the airport parking facilities. I mean, hell, they're going to be fighting over bridges if this comes to pass, that there's going to be that kind of hail. And it's widespread. But who knows? It's Texas. If you don't like the weather, wait 30 minutes. Because it's sure to change. Anything else we need to bring up, Mel? Oh, hey, we have, when's the next COCI meeting?
The next COCI meeting is May 17th. And I'll double check that while I'm talking here. No, let's see. No, it's May 19th. May 19th, the third Sunday in May. It's going to be at Southern Junction in Royce City. The meeting starts at 2:00, but we all get there right around noon because we like to order the special. They usually have a pretty damn good one and have a few drinks, and it's kind of a meet and greet situation. Everybody, and I say everybody, is welcome. Independents, clubs, the works. We have nothing to hide. All we talk about is what's going on in our community. We usually have our attorney there who is talking about, reschooling everybody on what their rights are, legislation that might be going on or coming up, what to do if you're stopped, how to act. U.S. Defenders gives a blurb. We've got a safety guy that we're in the middle of getting proclamations from the cities on motorcycle safety. It's a great organization. There's no admission. We encourage everybody to come. It's Region 2 of the Texas Coalition of Clubs and Independents. Please come. We'd love to see you there.
Exactly. And like Mel said, you get all kinds of good information. Mel, I am looking at the weather map right now. And it's interesting. There's nothing going on. Let me see. That's as far. Yeah, let me say this, Mel.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I saw earlier was stuff going on around Oklahoma City.
Well, there's some stuff coming from the south, our direction. So, but the big stuff is not here yet.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is it's been hot and humid enough that if we do get a storm cell that activates, the potential for hail is just huge.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we can't stress for every biker out there to be cognizant of the weather, and don't get caught out in that mess. Hail's just it's bad business for motorcyclists. With that, Mel, anything else?
No, that's it. I think we covered it.
Okay, and you guys, look, all we got to do is wait a couple of days, and something other shit happens. It never fails. It never fails.
You never know. The only thing we're ever sure of is the one thumbs down.
There you go. And and you guys ride safe, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Probably before then. Bye-bye.